Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the game Red Rising by Stonemaier Games, designed by Jamie Stegmaier and Alexander Schmidt, and published by Jamie's board game company, Stonemaier Games. So this won't be a full rules overview of the game. It'll just be talking about the parts of the game that I thoroughly enjoy and that make my brain think in a creative way. I'll link a how to play video in the comments below, or a general overview that I think is done better, so that if this game interests you, you can learn how to play and see if it's for you or not. Awesome. So the two things I'm going to talk about today are the board itself, as well as the cards. And so the game Red Rising is based on the Red Rising theme, or the IP of Red Rising, and this is this dystopian world where there's classism depicted in different color factions, and so they're all humanoid type characters, but they are split based on, you know, what color they were brought up into. And the red faction, or the red class, I don't remember how they refer to it in the books, is sort of like the lowest tier in the class system. And so Red Rising is all about them trying to regain their place in this society. And so explaining that general theme of it, because all of the cards are characters based in the IP of the world. And so both Michaela and I have read through the book series, so the characters are pretty cool to pull and look at, because there's a little added value of knowing the IP when playing the game. It's not necessary, like you don't have a competitive advantage in the game, but it's just that hidden kind of little extra that makes it enjoyable for us to play, because we really enjoyed reading through the series together. This game actually introduced us to the series, and we're thoroughly pleased with the fact that we got to read all 4 out of the 5 books published, and the 6th one is coming soon. And so all that rambling to say, the game is a hand management style game, and so everyone's going to be dealt out 5 cards at the start of the game, and it's all working towards building the biggest score in terms of victory points that you can get. And so each card is set up where it has a base cost that you'll score regardless. It's got this deploy ability section. Some of them have this symbol here of the end game scoring, and then they have a bonus point criteria that is shown on the bottom of if you can manipulate your hand to be a certain way, you can leverage those end game scoring, like those bonus scoring points, to build a big hand. And so if we look at someone like Karnus, he has a 15 base cost, but if you compare him with Cassius, who is his brother in the books, that's not really a spoiler, he'll gain an additional 30 points. But if he's paired with Mustang, the Jackal, or Nero, down at the bottom, he'll lose 15 points. And so from a UI standpoint, it's nice in the sense that when you're holding your hand of cards, you can still see on the side what things you're looking for, so you don't have to keep cycling your hand to remember exactly what you're looking for. And so that, coupled with, so if we focus on the deployability of cards, it's probably good to lead into the general play of the game, is on the board there are 4 essentially discard piles that you can deploy into and pick from, and then there'll also be the main deck where on the player board that the cards live. And so on your turn, you'll be choosing one of the 5 cards from your hand, or more, because there's ways in this game to get additional cards. You'll be choosing one to deploy, and so when you play that down, you'll get to take the ability of its deploy action. So with Arliss, you would deploy it saying each neighboring player reveals a random card from their hand. If it's a gold, banish that card. If it's a red, banish Arliss. And so the banish mechanic is like removing it from the game. But when you play it, you'll take that action, and then after playing it, you'll choose to either draw a card from one of the 3 piles that you didn't place into, or the top of the deck, And what's cool is each discard pile has an associated bonus that you like gain when you take it. So if we look over here, this Jupiter track will move your ship up this track here. Mars will give you helium, which are a end game scoring token. The Institute will allow you to place a cube up here, which is a little area control mechanic. And then Luna will give you the Sovereign token, and which is this nice guy here. It'll give you the Sovereign token and allow you to take your, I believe it's your family action or your house action. And so each player at the start of the game will be randomly selecting one of these tiles here, which gives you an ability for whenever you take that Luna action. So it gives a little asymmetrical power of differentiation from player to player. And so with all that explanation out of the way, I really like the idea of on your turn, you're discarding a card, then drawing a card. Or if you like what's in your hand, you're flipping the top card of the deck and deploying it somewhere or discarding it into one of the piles. And so that's a very simple, straightforward concept to understand. You know, get rid of a card, gain a card. Get rid of a card, gain a card. But that balance of trying to figure out which cards you want to collect in your hand to discard later to take their deploy ability, coupled with which cards you want to keep just for the end game, is a fun puzzle to work out. Because maybe I want to get Peleus, like I want to discard Peleus to move up the fleet track, but eventually I want to gain Peleus back into my hand because her end game scoring is based off of how far you get on the fleet track. And so each card almost has that mini little thought experiment of trying to figure out how you want to use them and at what time. And so that is my favorite part of Red Rising, is just that puzzle that you're kind of pushing towards the end game. And the way the game ends is the 3 different spots that we talked about of the Institute, the fleet track, and helium. Once all of those are met by 7, meaning someone's at 7 on the fleet track, or someone has 7 influence in the Institute, or someone has 7 helium collected into their supply. Once all of those are met, that will trigger the end of the game. And so you'll finish up the round that you're on and then go into scoring. So there is agency with the players to control how long you want the game to go. Because if you're already at 7 on the helium track and you don't want to end the game, you can keep taking helium and it forces the game to go on because maybe you're not ready to commit your hand to scoring. And so those are my favorite parts of the board game Red Rising by Stonemaier Games. I'd love to know what your thoughts are on the game in the comments below. And if you like videos like this, feel free to subscribe. I post videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And I look forward to engaging with you in the comments. Hope you have a great day.